Hello Internet, I am the Hero of Julius once again with another Digimon card opening video. This week we will be opening the starter decks for Jesmon and Ragnalordmon. These starter decks also come with 6 bonus Tamer cards, which I will be opening one set and keeping the other for my Schrodinger collection. Although unless it's clear and obvious, then in that case I won't have to. If I still sound a little sick, well, fun fact, I actually record these videos all together, so the box from last week, and the box before that are all recorded in roughly the same period of time, so that's probably why I still sound the same despite my other videos sounding just fine. But you guys don't want to hear about my health, you want to hear about the starter decks. So let's start with Bandai's favorite child, Jesmon. And I say that in like half joking, half honesty, because let's face the facts, Jesmon got a ton of power-ups in both BT10 and a starter deck of his very own. So, So I do want to point out that the boxes themselves are actually smaller than they were previously, the other starter deck boxes. That's because they come in this like little cardboard now, just holding everything down. And so here's the actual starter deck itself, and then here are the Tamer cards. They're actually not kept in anything, so I will have to find some sleeves for those later. I did not think I would need as many as I brought. But for the cards, we got Tai Kamiya. This is the one from the starter deck, actually. During your turn, all of your Digimon gain 1000 DP. It's a 2-cost Tamer, very straight to the point. Now this one, people have been clamoring for him to get a reprint. This is the Davis that is also a memory tamer. He searches the top 3 cards of your deck for a blue and a green Digimon card, placing the remaining at the bottom of your deck. It's really nice to see this getting a reprint and in an easily accessible form, such as a starter deck, because, well, with Imperial Dramon on the rampant, he is a very strong tamer. So, this is the TK from the starter decks, the original starter decks. All of your security Digimon gain 2000 DP during your opponent's turn. Again, the original Tamer cards were very straight to the point on their effects. Tamers these days have such complexity to them in some cases, especially Japan just got a 5-cost Tamer, the first of its kind, dual-colored, tons of extra abilities, but it's nice to see the simple stuff again. This is the Ken Ichijoji, also a memory tamer like Davis. This one is when one of your green or blue Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you can suspend this Digimon to gain a memory. So he came from BT3 just like Davis. It's an alright tamer. Now this is a good tamer. This is the BT4 Izzy, a black tamer, also a memory tamer. On play, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If all the revealed cards are black, you gain a memory. So even though he costs 4, like other memory tamers, he can potentially cost 3, especially if you're running an all-black deck. And then finally, we got the purple tamer here. We got Matt. This is also the starter deck from the purple starter deck. When one of your Digimon is deleted, you can suspend this tamer to gain a memory. Straight to the point. Only costs 2 to play him, so very cheap tamer. But without further ado, let us open up the deck and actually see what we get. First of all, we have the usual how to play cards, so I'll just put those over here. But we get these really nice memory gauges. I love that they're, the acrylic ones, and we got featuring Jesmon and his rookie form, Huckmon, on here. You can choose which one you want your opponent to have, or, if you guys have your own, you guys could both be Jesmon, you could both be Huckmon, or if you only have this, whichever one of you is the little brother gets the little Digimon. And speaking of little Digimon, let's just start off with our egg. So we got 4 copies of Gurimon. While you have 2 or more Digimon in play, this Digimon gains 1000 DP. Jesmon features a lot of abilities that summon the Sistermons to the board, so if you include Jesmon as well as the Sistermon he will inevitably summon, this is a very easy to pull off combo. Next up, we have 4 copies of Candlemon, just a vanilla 2-cost, 3000 DP, just a little red rookie Digimon. There's 4 copies of him in the deck. Then there are 4 copies of Solarmon. During all turns, players can't reduce play cost. So if you're fighting something like Death Exmon and you put this little guy down, your opponent has to pay all 20 to play Death Exmon. So, and of course there are other cards like that, but that was just the first example that came to mind. This also works against Beelstarmon if you find that card's been troubling you. Finally, for our rookies, we get 4 copies of Huckmon. During your turn, when you would play a Digimon with Sistermon in its name, you gain a memory. And as an inherited effect, while this Digimon has Huckmon in its name or Royal Knight in its traits, it gains 1000 DP. Combine that with the Gurimon from here, and your Jesmon will get 2000 more DP. Very nice. Next, we get 4 copies of this Vanilla Meramon. There's 4000 DP, 4 to hard play, but it only costs 1 to Digivolve. So if you can't find your other quote-unquote better champions, this is a good quick evolution to maybe get into an ultimate that you need. But for our other champion, we are given 4 copies of Bao Huckmon. While this Digimon has Huckmon in its name, or Royal Knight in its traits, it gains 1000 DP. So it's starting to become clear the goal of the starter deck is to make Jesmon or Gankumon, the other Mega in this deck, as powerful as possible. For our ultimates, we get 4 copies of Skull Meramon here. He is 9000 DP, 6 to play, 3 to Digivolve, just a vanilla ultimate level Digimon. And we get 4 copies of Savior Huckmon here. This Digimon may also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn. So he can, but that's only when Digivolving, so it's only for the turn that you Digivolve into him. His inherited effect, if this Digimon has Royal Knight in its traits, you can play a Sistermon from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So, yeah, not bad. You can bring back your Sistermons if you need. Finally, we have 2 copies of Volcanomon. He is a blocker. He is red and black, and Digivolves from both colors for 4. But what you really want him for is his security attack +1 inherited. So if you can't get your Savior Huckmon out, getting this guy underneath your Digimon is a fantastic idea because it'll be 1 more swing. Let's talk about our next level 3 Digimon. These ones can't Digivolve off Gurimon because they are Sistermon Blanc. So her on-play effect, by trashing a card in our hand, draw 2. Then, during all turns, while we have a Digimon with Huckmon in its name or Royal Knight in its traits, this Digimon gains Decoy, red, and black. So your Sistermon Blancs in this deck serve to protect your Jesmon and Gankumon and your Huckmons from being deleted by taking the deletion herself. Our other Sistermon from this box is Sistermon CL. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. We can add a Huckmon or a Royal Knight from our hand and trash the rest of them. Now, this is the interesting thing. During all of our turns, Huckmons and Royal Knights gain Reboot. So, one of the weaknesses of the Jesmon strategy was after Jesmon attacks, he's suspended and weakened. Unfortunately, Sistermon, I say unfortunately, fortunately for the player, unfortunately for their opponent, Sistermon CL is able to protect them from that by giving them Reboot. But this down here, this is very interesting. So, this card is also treated as if its name were Sistermon Noir, and traits include Virus. The reason for that is because in Japan, this is actually Sistermon Noir. Now, obviously they could have just changed the color, but they actually used Sistermon CL, who kind of came into existence as like a censorship, but they ended up making her own Digimon, which I think is really cool. If you have to censor, at least they did something with it instead of just putting a hat on her and calling it a day. I do love that art, though, with all the other Digimon happily, smiling around her. It's very cute. Next up are our option cards. We get 4 copies of Aus Generics. It's only 1 cost, but its main effect is one of our Digimon gains 2000 DP. Then, if we have a Digimon with Huckmon or Royal Knight in its traits in play, we gain a memory, so making this card free, and one of our Digimon gains Piercing. So, yeah, that's pretty dang strong, and it definitely works well for Royal Knights, so I can see why they gave you 4 copies of it. I think maybe ideally I'd only run 1 or 2, because there are other ways to gain piercing, plus there are other Jesmons that have piercing. Now, what I would run 4 of, that we only get 2 of in this one, is From Master to Disciple. Its main effect lets us reveal the top 3 cards of our deck, add a card with Huckmon or Sistermon in its name, or Royal Knight in its traits to our hand, trashing the rest. Then we place this card in our battle area because it has a delay effect. Its delay effect, of course, is the next time one of your Digimon would Digivolve this turn, reduce the cost by 1. This is interesting because most delay effects that we have in the game right now are memory boosts. This is one of the first ones to not give memory as its delay effect. If you could get 4 of these, you could make a Digivolution for free if it, like the Jesmon in this starter deck costs 4 to Digivolve, so if you had 4 of this, you could make it free. The final option card is a black option card, Quake, Blast, Fire, Father. It is a 7-cost option card. While you have a Digimon with Huckmon or Sistermon in its name, or Royal Knights in its traits, you may play this card without meeting its color requirements. Its main effect lets you delete an opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 13 or less. So, it's a slightly worse Gaia Force, because 8-cost Gaia Force can hit anything, but this can delete something that's 13 or less. For the most part, most of the Digimon in the card game are 13 or less, so you don't need that extra, oomph that Gaia Force has. But obviously it works in its best when you have the Digimon necessary to ignore the black-only requirement. Now, finally, the stars of the show. We'll start with the Master, the one who taught him everything he knows. We'll start with Gankumon. Gankumon can Digivolve off red and black for 3, and when Digivolving, you can play a Huckmon or a Digimon with Sistermon in its traits from our trash without paying the memory cost. When you would play another Digimon by an effect, once per turn, during your turn, you can de-Digivolve 1 up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon. So, definitely showing you the power of a secret, or a super rare, not a secret rare. And now, apprentice ready to take on the mantle of Royal Knight is Jesmon himself. When Digivolving, Blitz, which just means he can attack during your opponent's turn, which is nice, as long as it's the first thing that happens. When attacking, though, you can play a Digimon with Sistermon from your hand without paying its memory cost. This is necessary to trigger its other effect. Once per turn during your turn, when you would play another Digimon by an effect, it gains 3000 DP and security attack plus 1. So, obviously, the main goal of this deck is to take, Gurimon, Huckmon, your Bao Huckmon, and then save your Huckmon. Then Jesmon, shows up, blitzes, has the extra 3000 DP, 1 for Bao Huckmon, 1 for Huckmon, and then 1 for our little egg Gurimon over here. Blitzes in for 15,000 DP, and summons, Sistermon Blanc from our hand, and then Sistermon Blanc from our trash with Save Your Huckmon's ability, protecting him from 2 potential deletions. Now, mind you, this is only protecting you from your opponent's option cards, or their card effects. It does not protect him from losing battle. However, you've boosted him to 15,000 DP. There's going to be very few battles Jesmon can actually lose. Well, that was certainly a fun starter deck to learn about, and we have this other starter deck that contains some more of these tamers I was just showing you. But I know what you're thinking. Hey, what does the other starter deck do? Well, I'm glad you asked, disembodied person. This deck features the Legends Arms Digimon, and also comes with some rule cards. But it does focus on Briwermon and Durandamon. These 2 powerful Digimon DNA Digivolve into the ferocious Ragnalordmon. Again, we got these lovely acrylic memory gauges, and our egg is a black egg of a little Sakutomon, who is just adorable. Look at him. When you would play another Digimon with Legend Arms in its traits by an effect, gain a memory. And you are going to be doing that a lot in this starter deck. Okay, had to shuffle the cards a little so that I could talk about these in greater detail. But let's start off with the first rookie in the deck, Zubamon. He is the 20th anniversary special Digimon, as you can tell by the little 20 on his nose. But his on-play effect lets us place this Digimon under one of our Digimon that is black or has legend arms in its traits as its bottom Digivolution card. We may reveal the top card of our deck, and if that card has legend arms within its traits and a play cost of 7 or less, we can play it without paying its memory cost. So, for only 3 memory, you slide him under something, and then you have a chance at pulling out something even bigger and playing it then and there. Its inherited effect: if you have a Digimon that is black or has legend arms in its traits in play, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon of 3000 DP or less when attacking. Our next rookie level Digimon is Kotemon, who features, just some cute artwork of him practicing his kendo. But he is a 2-cost to play, 0 to Digivolve, 3000 power, just a vanilla rookie level Digimon. Now, just like the Solarmon from the other starter deck, we have Chikurimon here. He is a black Digimon, 3 to play, 3000 power, 0 to Digivolve. However, he has the all turns effect that players cannot reduce play cost. Now, mind you, there is a difference between reducing play cost and not having to pay the play cost. So Chikurimon does not prevent you from using your Legend Arms abilities to play a level, a 7 cost or less Legend Arms Digimon, because you are not reducing the cost, you are playing it without paying for it. Just something to keep in mind. Our final rookie is Ludomon. He also has the on-play of placing himself under one of your Digimon that is red or has Legend Arms in its traits. And then you can look at the top card of your deck and play a Digimon with Legend Arms and a play cost of 7 or less without paying its cost, adding the rest to your hand, which basically boils down to, if you play him and you whiff, it doesn't go to the trash or the bottom of the deck, you just draw a card instead. His inherited effect gives a red Digimon or a Legend Arms blocker. So, he is the shield, and the other one is the sword. Here you can actually see their champion forms working together to fight something. This is the artwork for Zuba Eggermon. On-play effect. You can place him underneath your Digimon that's black or has Legend Arms, and then delete an opponent's Digimon with 5000 or less DP. So, if you used Ludomon's effect, slid him under something, your top card was Zuba Eggermon, you could play him, slide him under something, and then delete an opponent's Digimon. His when attacking ability: if your Digimon that is red or black or has Legend Arms in its trait, you can delete an opponent's Digimon with 3000 or less DP. So, his inherited is not as strong as his on-play, but you can use it multiple times, so that's kind of the trade-off. Our next champion level Digimon is Gladimon, who is a 4 to play, 4000 power, 1 to Digivolve, just a vanilla, but a quick Digivolution if you're trying to, cycle through your deck to get something stronger. And next we have Tia Ludomon. His on-play effect does the same thing. You slide him under one of your other cards that's red or Legend Arms, then one of your Digimon gains Reboot until the end of your opponent's turn. If you have a Digimon that's red or Legend Arms, this Digimon gains Blocker. So it's the same as his rookie level, however, the Reboot is what you really want this card for. So, being able to reboot at will is a interesting effect. It's a good way to protect yourself after a strong attack. But personally, I kind of wish we had, maybe a different inherited, since we already have it from his rookie. Next up, for the ultimate level Digimon, we have Duramon. During your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card that is black or has Legend Arms in its traits, you reduce the cost by 1. At the end of your turn, you can DNA Digivolve this Digimon into another Digimon for its DNA Digivolution cost. So, kind of like the Gatomon from the purple-yellow starter deck, or the Wormmon from that green and blue starter deck, this is becoming a very common effect that just allows you to end your turn by DNA Digivolve. Next, to bridge the gap between black and red, we got this Nightmon, who is a vanilla Digimon, 5 to play, 3 to Digivolve off of both black and red, and then 7000 power, but the important thing here is he is both black and red, which allows him to sort of let us jump between the two colors if we wanted to varietize our deck. Now, the only ultimate that we got 4 of is Ludamon. So this Digimon cannot be deleted by your opponent's effects. So you just put him down, that's it. He just cannot be deleted by opponent's effects. He can still lose battles. He can still have his DP reduced. He can still be put back in your hand, but things like Gaia Force cannot stop him. He has the same effect. He can DNA Digivolve for the cost at the end of your turn, so you could end your turn, even if the memory is over at your opponent, you can still DNA Digivolve. I am going to hold off on our Megas, even if one of them is just a rare, not a super rare, because I want to talk about them all at the same time. So let's talk about our options. First up, we have Direct Smasher. So we only have 2 of this one. While you have a Legend Arms in play, you can play this without meeting its color requirements. You can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. So time this right, and you can take out one of your opponent's most powerful Digimon. Time it wrong, and you might end up just blowing up something that costs like 5. So be careful when you use it, but for the most part, you're going to be in control of when this happens, and for the most part, your opponent's going to have something strong enough on the board to make this worth it. Just like the Jesmon starter deck, we actually have a option card here with a delay effect that doesn't give us memory. Its main effect lets us play a Legend Arms for a cost of 7 or less from our hand without paying its memory cost, so making it cost 3 less if we go with the full 7 cost. But we place it in our battle area and we'll have access to the delay effect. We reveal the top 4 cards of our deck, and we can place those cards on the top or bottom of our deck in any order. This is really nice because this allows us to choose what cards are at the top of our deck, which will then allow us to benefit from the effects of our rookie level Digimon that require us to go to the top of our deck. Its security effect lets us play a Legend Arms for a cost of 7 or less, and then place this in our battle area. So it's actually one of the few option cards, the options with delays, that doesn't just go straight to the area. This one and the other one from the Jesmon starter deck. Alright, let's start with Ludamon. His inherited effect protects Lordmon from your opponent's effects, from your opponent's Digimon's effects, not their option cards. When one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, your opponent's effects can't delete this Digimon or return it to the owner's hand or deck until the end of their turn. This does not stop DP reduction, but it does protect it from being deleted or thrown out of the battle. When Digivolving, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can play a Legend Arms with 7 or less without paying its memory cost, placing the rest at the bottom of your deck. So again, just like all the other Legend Arms in here, it is about pulling out the entire arsenal and throwing it at your opponent as strongly as you can. Now, we only got 2 of his counterpart. This is Durandamon. Durandamon has the inherited effect that protects Lordmon from security effects of option cards. So he is like a absolutely free version of a Delicate Plan, which is a very powerful red option card. However, it only works with Lordmon, so you have to be actively trying to have Lordmon on the board. When one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon gains 3,000 DP, making him 14,000, and security attack +1. Now, it says this Digimon, which means if he were to Digivolve into Lordmon, he would keep that. But remember, when DNA Digivolving, they become a new Digimon, so power-ups like that do not carry over. So if you are going to swing with this power-up, do it before you DNA Digivolve. His when attacking reveals the top 3 cards of our deck, and then we can play a 7 cost or less Legend Arms without paying its memory and put the rest at the bottom of the deck. Again, the same effect you've been seeing for this entire starter deck. And now, the granddaddy of them all, the powerhouse, the main attraction, Ragnalordmon, a level 7 DNA Digivolving Digimon, who blitzes when Digivolving. Now, granted, you probably are going to DNA Digivolve into him, but it's nice to know that in an emergency, you could pay 6, Digivolve into him, and blitz for 15,000 power. When DNA Digivolving, however, for every 4 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 20 or less, and trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. If you managed, somehow, to DNA Digivolve off of an entirely fully Digivolved Durandamon and Briware Ludramon, you would have the ability to destroy 2 of your opponent's Digimon and 2 of your opponent's security stack, not to mention the blitz attack that he'll do at the end of your turn. Also, when a card is removed from a player's security stack, unsuspend this Digimon. So, if he attacks, and then he, unsuspends, he'll attack again. It's once per turn, but it's 2 swings. Honestly, I love the concept of DNA Digivolving, but I'm going to hand it to this deck. I think you're better off Digivolving into Durandamon, powering up the Security Plus, and then just blitzing with Ragnalordmon. But that's just my opinion. So with that, we have both of our new starter decks coming out, or they have come out, sorry, they are out now. I would recommend, as always, to try and get your hands on 2 copies because Bandai loves to give out their starter deck cards in pairs every now and then for some of the cards. So you'll need to get at least 2 of each starter deck to have a full playset of everything available. But let me know in the comments which starter deck you think is better, just as the starter deck itself. Personally, I think the Ragnalordmon deck has a lot more in sync with itself. I think the Jesmon one sort of assumes you have the Jesmon cards from previous booster packs to make the deck stronger. But let me know in the comments below which starter deck you think is better, or if you thought both starter decks are terrible and you're not going to use any of the cards. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.